because especially with Buddhism, there's a really a lot of focus on letting go,
Mhm.
and so I constantly scan myself for any areas where I'm white knuckling my way through life and going, okay, this is where I need to not necessarily let go, but at least loosen the grip. And so the first thing that comes to mind is this notion when I took the monastic vows and I was in full robes and that was my life and I was living at the monastery. And it's like, this is it. But it isn't it. Even at the monastery, they tell you the goal is not for you to make this your permanent home. It's to learn what you can and take it out into the real world. And so, you know, giving up all worldly possessions and putting on the robes was a really big step, but it's not the final step. And moving on, wearing the robes in the monastery made perfect sense. We all had the same haircut, we all had the same clothes, we were all one, we were all identical. It went hand in hand with what we were learning, that we are all interconnected, we're all the same. At the monastery, that made sense. But when I left the monastery but continued wearing the robes around town, all of a sudden the same robes that communicated one message inside the monastery, that we're all the same, communicated the exact opposite message on the streets of Honolulu, going, look at me, I'm different from everyone. And people started treating me differently, which was in direct contradiction to my intention, which was
Mm.
just to blend in and be one of the people. So then I needed to take off the robes because what was true the year prior was not true then. And I knew it's a funny story because I was on the bus and the old lady offered me her seat. And I'm like, no, this is definitely not what. And I knew and my own teachers even asked me, said, why the robes? Why can't you just be the guy in town with the bright eyes? And indeed, why can't we all? And so it wasn't about clinging to the robes and saying, this is who I am. No, the maroon robes run through my veins. I don't need to put them on every morning. I needed to when I first took the vows, 100%. I don't regret having put them on. There just came a time when they no longer served the same purpose. And so it was just as important to take them off.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
That makes
That
sense.
both of those things are true. Like there's some people who need them, some people who don't. There's a time I needed them, there's a time I didn't. And I needed to remain fluid and flexible rather than rigid, because that which is rigid breaks and
Mhm.
that which is fluid is adaptable. And that's the invitation, is remain teachable, remain fluid.
If you enjoyed this clip, the full episode will be made available up here somewhere, so feel free to check that out. If you're someone that's interested in working one-on-one with me and developing your practice of presence, reflecting on your life at the moment, and calibrating your trajectory, then feel free to head over to todaydreamer.com and get in touch. There's also a full catalogue of episodes available on the website, which are there to help you cultivate the practice of presence so that you can more deeply participate in the blossoming of the emergent world story. Until next time, be well.